I spent a lot of time deep in thought about ancient religions like Buddhism. If desire is the root of all suffering, why then did they build such majestic temples? My friends, the reason is because Homo sapiens need stories to believe in, and you can't have a good story without a beautiful backdrop. This is how my story began.
When I was searching for my first job out of college, my career advisor set the bar real low. She was like, Alan, just apply to as many jobs as you possibly can. I know that you want a software engineering job, but you can try applying for a quality assurance engineer as well. There's no shame in that. You gotta understand, you're competing against people who started coding at the age of 13. You started coding at the age of 19. So you have like a 6-year disadvantage. You are not gonna outcompete these guys if you go head on against them. But you can make it a numbers game. Just fire out those resumes, like pew, 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 pew. Fire out the resumes. I knew what she was getting at. It didn't really leave a good taste in my mouth because yes, she's trying to help me find my first job out of college, but am I really that bad? Like all I ever wanted was to get a job at Facebook, and Facebook didn't want me. So what now? Do I just start applying to all these bottom tier jobs that I have no interest in? See, when you send out hundreds of resumes, you have a chance of having hundreds of opportunities. Even if a few of these opportunities turn out to be viable, at least you have a choice. And the thought goes that having choice is good because beggars can't be choosers. And you want to be a chooser. It gives you more control over your life. The thing about choosers though, is that choosers can't make up their fucking minds. Sometimes it is better to be a beggar because you are not stuck in choice paralysis. At least you get to move forward in life. It's like buying a bottle of shampoo. The first bottle that you come across says it's gonna make your hair dense, thick, and shine. That's good enough. Take it and go home and wash your hair. Who cares if the next bottle over says it's gonna make your hair denser, thicker, and shinier? It's already dense, thick, and shine. How dense do you want? Even though I have a few bones to pick with the idea of a numbers game when it comes to job applications, I was still a realist. My first job out of college, I sent out maybe 10 to 20 applications. But I was definitely of a beggar mindset at the time, and it helped make my decision to move to San Francisco the easiest decision ever. It went something like this. I got an offer, I took the offer and I hopped on the flight. Generally speaking, moving to a different city and a different country is kind of a big deal, so people tend to ruminate on their decisions and weighing their options. All I wanted was to get a job at Facebook, and even though this offer is not a Facebook offer, I decided that it's like a stepping stone, right? Like it gets me one step closer. So here I am, San Francisco. The offer was $65,000 a year. The entry-level position that the Canadian startup where I interned at would have offered me was only $55,000 CAD. So $65,000 USD is a huge win. The company was called Founder Dating. They kind of missed the memo with the trend where online dating apps that started around that time used single word names for their apps, like Tinder, Bumble, Hinge. In fact, Founder Dating kind of missed the memo altogether. It isn't even about helping founders find hookups. It's about helping founders find co-founders so they can start a business together. I mean, they've got it all backwards. Like, the co-founder relationship is even more serious than marriage. It's exclusively for wannabe billionaires who decide that this is the person I want to split my future $1 billion with when our company becomes a unicorn. And the chance of success is real low. Like, marriage is pretty tough in and of itself. But co-founder relationship? Honestly, Founder Dating should have stuck with a hookup business. The co-founders could use some. My first day at Founder Dating, 23-year-old me. This was back in 2014, and I have a few journal entries from that time. So let's read a few of these. Locked outside on my first day of work. Better to be early than to be late. I was real nervous. Like, just imagine, I just came to a new city where I didn't know anybody, and the only thing tying me to the city was my jobs. And I showed up that morning, nobody was there. It's like, what if I just got scammed? What if my job didn't exist? The hours are long and the eyes are tired, But when I become familiar with whole technology stack, I trust life will get easier. Angular seems to generate and minimize JS files. Apart from that, I really need to schedule breaks on my workdays, 90 minutes and then a 10-minute break. Founder dating worked me pretty hard, and I didn't know how hard I was supposed to work. All I knew was I was making $65,000 a year, so I should probably pull my weight. Signed up for 24-hour fitness today. It is insanely expensive and commands commitment, but I am determined to lose some fat and maintain a healthy lifestyle. It also gives me a shower to use, so I don't have to shower at home. A bit of context here. I was living at a hacker house at the time. It was like a dormitory-style residence where 40 people shared the bathroom, and I really didn't like that. So 24-hour fitness, to me at the time, it was crazy expensive because it was $30 a month, and I've never paid anything for $30 a month in my life before. But they had these showers that seemed cleaner than whatever I had back at my dorm. Reading these old journal entries really gives me some humility in knowing that there was a point in my life where I looked at a subscription or a membership fee and I went like, wow, that was expensive. But these days, I'm just waiting to get back into Equinox and their membership fee is like $200 a month. What am I doing with my life? Anyway, it wasn't long before one of my coworkers asked me, so how much are you getting paid? And it wasn't long before I realized I was getting way underpaid. The market price for a software engineer in San Francisco, $65,000 a year, is a lot of money. But entry-level positions for a software engineer in San Francisco back in 2014 had a base salary range of $100K to $130K. So I was almost 50% below market rate. And this was before I even understood the concept of stocks as compensation. You see, in San Francisco, most software engineers get a base salary, but on top of the base salary, they also have compensation in the form of stocks. So when you add the value of the stocks to the base salary, together they form the total compensation. Even back in 2014, total compensation for an entry-level software engineer can easily go beyond $200K. And that is an insane number. The internet is a funny place. I didn't know if this app existed back in 2014, but these days, if you want to find out exactly how much software engineers make, all you gotta do is go on this app called Blind. If you've been following this whole Wall Street's bed saga and you think Wall Street are the villains behind this thing called capitalism, wait until you go on Blind and see what software engineers really think of the world. Software engineers are real douchebags. And I say this with love, of course, because my name is Alan Z, consumerist monk. I believe the first step to becoming less of a douchebag is to acknowledge it, so you can become mindful of your behavior and live your life in a way such that it will contribute to the greater good instead of taking away from it. Let's read some of these blind posts to see how much entry-level software engineers are making these days. We haven't measured our dicks for a couple minutes, so decided to create one. Age, TC, including stock appreciation, side business, and anything else. Do not include household, spouse, TC. TC stands for total compensation. Somebody from Twitter says 28, about 800K TC. Somebody from Google says 29, 345K TC. 34, 960K TC. 24, 200K TC, sad face. 28 to 170K TC, sad face. This sad face I understand, because the guy above you was 24 years old and he was making 200K. You're 28 now. What are you doing with your life? 22, 152K. So back when I was working on founder dating, I didn't really have all this obnoxious information at my hands. But even then, I just had the sinking feeling that I could be making a little bit more. Staying at this job for longer is not going to necessarily make me better at interviewing at my next job that has a higher salary. It's like for any other job, you know, you go to the job, you perform your duties, and you become better at it. So when you interview at your next job, this experience is usually relevant. But in software engineering, that is rarely the case. The interviewing skill set is a whole separate skill set than actually doing your job. So the logical conclusion is to quit my job. You can only stay as a visitor in the United States for up to 6 months, and then you have to go back to Canada. So I had exactly 6 months of time to become so good at interviewing that Facebook will finally hire me for maybe an 80K salary. Totally reasonable. These days on YouTube, there's a lot of software engineers on YouTube. I don't know what it is about making videos and software engineering, but these people younger than myself, they're struggling with similar decisions, and it really resonates with me. I see them trying to pick the right path to go in life. Analytically minded people like myself are constantly obsessed with making the optimal decision. We want to find fulfillment, even want to plan out our lives so that we don't go down a path that leads to nowhere. We don't want to waste time. Time is the most valuable resource. These people on YouTube are generally a lot more informed than I was. They're talking heavy topics like 401k, like the RSUs, or the moral ethics of a company and whether or not like you should work for them, are they politically correct, all these concerns. I didn't care about any of that. I was very much just 65K and here I am. Even with all that information though, there will still come a point in your life which I call the decision point. At the decision point, there's no more time left to go collect information. You know what you know, you don't know what you don't know. But you still have to make this decision right here, right now. And that's when you have to take on the beggar mindset. It's like, I'm about to make this decision, I'm about to ask for this request, please make it work. Life, or whatever deity you believe in, please just make sure that my decision was the right one. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what stage of life you're in, we all come to the decision point where we just have to take a step forward. I'm gonna buy that Bitcoin. I'm gonna move to LA, because what is life if not one big gamble? I lasted 6 months at Founder Dating and I quit on the last week of February in 2015. I took an offer for a new job in April of 2015 for a base salary of 100K, and that one was a wild ride. My name is Alan Z, consumerist monk. I have no idea what I just did there, but I am begging you to please give this video a like and then smash that subscribe button. Buttons are designed to be smashed. I couldn't do it. It's my last bottle of Cabaret. I just couldn't sacrifice it for the algorithm. Couldn't commit. Ryan, I'm gonna need another bottle from you. You gonna hook me up, brother?